Hello, I'm Jody Wolf, and you're watching Expoz. It is September 16, 2019. It's 1:12 a.m. in Birmingham. And topic, kind of picking up from the part two I did about an imminent rapture several days ago, a week ago. And I just want to point out something about Apostle Paul, what he saw, and Enoch, what he saw, and what John saw and heard, but they were forbidden to tell. Only one had the ability to tell, but he couldn't because he couldn't. And I'll get to that. But start with, people wonder when God appointed Trump. When did God think of Trump? Did he think of Trump back in the days of Cyrus the king? When Cyrus was used, he was a bad king. He was used to bless Israel and got them the temple built. Well, if he thought of Cyrus, then put him on the scene, and they said, you know what, I'm gonna replay this back in the end days, so let me find Trump. Let me tell you when God thought of Cyrus and Trump and you. The same time he thought of Noah, the same time he thought of Moses, the same time he thought of Adam. Probably billions of years ago, you were on God's mind. As you are, you were on God's mind. And because of that, you're here now. Now, let me try to explain a little bit of why. Apostle Paul went into a town to witness. They didn't want to hear him. They tried to kill him. They beat the hell out of him, left him for dead. The men with him drug Apostle Paul out of town as dead. Now, freeze that just for a moment. Enoch, the first one that had a vision of heaven, could not describe it. He kept asking angels, what is this? What is this? But he couldn't describe it. The beauty of it was overwhelming, and he couldn't do it justice. And then you got Apostle Paul, and then you had John, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, had a vision, 7 thunders. But God said, John, utter not these thunders. Don't tell anyone what they are. So John had to close that door. He couldn't tell what he had saw. He just said 7 thunders. I believe these are 7 possible judgments that may be used. That's too horrible to explain. That's what I believe. Now, let's go back to Apostle Paul. He went into that town to witness. They wouldn't have it. They tried to kill him. They thought they did kill him. And his men thought he was dead. They carried him out of town. But John woke up, and he was excited beyond words. And he said, I don't know if I was in the body, out of the body, in the spirit. I don't know where I was. But I saw heaven. And they said, tell us about it. I can't. It's illegal. He didn't know how to explain what heaven looked like. He said, if I try, I won't do it justice. So I'll be lying to you. But he saw that it was so beautiful. He couldn't come up with the words to describe it, but he knew one thing. He had to go back in that town and witness to the people that just tried to kill him. Why? Because Apostle Paul saw heaven. An angel carried him there. He said, I don't know if I was in the body, out of the body. I don't know if it was a dream. I don't know. What he saw was so clear and so beautiful, he couldn't understand it. He knew one thing. Those people that wouldn't hear of it, They're going to hear of it. Let them kill me again. He went back in town because heaven was so wonderful. He said, it's a crime for me not to go back in and tell them what they're going to miss out on. So that's why Apostle Paul went back in to the same town that they just tried to kill him in. We don't want to hear you preaching, but he saw heaven. I think God did that on purpose. Just let them know what they're missing out on. Right back in there he goes. Guys, in all honesty, I don't believe many people, they may have had visions of the outer limits of heaven. Like, I can't think of the guy's name, and I apologize, but the guy that walks everywhere, he said he was transported in a vision, in a dream. And when he went up to the tree of life, he said he put his hand up under a fruit, and the fruit disconnected itself and lowered itself into his hand. He said every flower had a different song. Every tree had a different song. The waters were singing to God. The birds, butterflies, everything was singing to God. So he saw the outer limits of heaven, things that he could describe, and he said the colors aren't like they are here. They're all different. They're intense. They're beautiful. I can't describe them. So people who's really been to that point can't really describe because they'll come up short. And it's anyone. There's only one that's been there and come back tell about it, and that's Jesus. But the point is, a lot of people say they were in heaven. If they were, fine, but they couldn't describe it if they wanted to. But we need to know, and we need to lean on what Apostle Paul said. It's a crime to describe it, but yet it's a crime not to tell it. Jody Wolf Expoz.